So you want to be the very best Pal Tamer, like no one ever was. Well, I've spent dozens of hours exploring Palworld, and I've got just the right tips to help you reach that goal with ease. Here are 15 things I wish I knew about Palworld. Let's start with the question I know all of you are going to be asking when you start playing. How the hell do I get a gun? Palworld has been called Pokemon with guns for a while now, but you don't get any firearms for hours into the experience at player level 20 when you gain access to the weapons workbench. Fortunately, there's still a way to bust a cap in some pals before you reach that point. First, you're gonna need to catch a Leaf Monk. Leaf Monk? Life Monk? Leaf Monk, because at player level 11, you'll be able to unlock Leaf Monk's submachine gun. When crafted, this item allows your little green friend to take advantage of its partner skill, Leaf Monk Recoil. When activated, Leaf Monk will jump on top of your head and fire its SMG in the direction that you point for a limited time. Now I know the limited use seems like a bummer, but this is just to hold you over until level 20 when you can use your own gun and Leaf Monk's SMG at the same time. Besides, you can always use the partner skill again once the cooldown is done. Another early option is to equip Tanzee with an assault rifle. This partner skill is available at player level 12, but unlike with Leaf Monk, you can't help Tanzee aim, and those monkeys are a horrible shot. Look at him. Look at him missing every shot. The cat is right in front of him. There you go. He hit one. Boom. All right, cool. For a different type of firepower, catch a Foxpark. At player level 6, you can craft a harness for this fire breather that allows you to pick it up and use it as a flamethrower. Now before you wake up on the beach dazed and confused, take a look at the custom world settings because there's a lot you can change. Under difficulty, you'll see another option that reads custom difficulty. Inside are a plethora of sliders that will change the speed of the day and night cycle, the rate at which you and your pals gain experience, how easy it is to capture a pal, and so much more. If you've already begun your adventure, there's no need to worry or restart your playthrough, as these settings can be changed at any time. Next time you're at the world select screen, pick Change World Settings at the bottom of the screen. This is useful because it lets you jump into the game, experience it at its default state, and then pop out to change things that you may have found too hard, too easy, or too annoying. Like how fast your character and pals get hungry. Hey, those arrows aren't gonna craft themselves. No lunch breaks. Sorry about that. Where were we? Oh yeah, tip number 3. By default, Palworld will drop you into an area called Windswept Hills, but if you'd like to spawn somewhere different, there is a way. Die. Whenever you perish, you'll see a handful of respawn points in biomes you haven't even explored yet. So if Windswept Hills isn't your jam, or you just want to start differently than another character you made, kick the bucket after you load in and pick another spot for your humble beginnings. Personally, I wouldn't do this because the pals in those different areas may be at a higher level and looking to kick your ass. But if you love the smell of danger in the morning, go ahead, set up your first base elsewhere. For the sake of this video though, I'm gonna talk as if you started in the default location, as that was my experience. By now, you've spawned in and you're ready to get the ball rolling, but something feels off. Where's the person in a lab coat waiting to greet you with 3 starter monsters? Well, there is none. But the good news is you're free to grab whatever pal catches your eye, so go wild. However, I do have some recommendations. I found that the land balls are essential for your base. I don't carry one around in my party, but they're hard workers and I've never seen them complain about the work conditions. Cativas are useful because, unlike the lambs, these pink kittens can mine resources. The only problem is the ones I had working at my base got stressed fairly often. Then there are the Chickapee, and to be honest, I mostly ignored these guys. These little chickens quickly became my punching bags. I used them to test a weapon I crafted, or practice the powers of a pal I preferred, or grab the eggs that they drop to cook later, or the sweet, delicious chicken meat that they drop as well. Speaking of food, in Palworld, the food you collect or cook can spoil if not eaten in a timely manner. While playing, take notice of the little timer on all of the edible items in your inventory or your storage crates. This will let you know how much time you have to use them for yourself or your pals. Funny thing about this is that my food never went bad during my playtime, the timer just always reset. However, I'm including this tip because it's a mechanic in the game that you should be aware of just in case there's a patch that fixes the busted timer when the game releases in early access for everyone. If that happens to be the case and food starts to collect flies in your pocket, just know that at level 13 you'll be able to craft a cooler to store the food in. That'll make it last longer. And speaking of storage, there's no need to constantly carry all your crafting materials or drag them along to each workbench visit. Palworld has one of my favorite features in a crafting survival game. The workbenches can read what you have stored in any of the different crates you have scattered around your base. Campfires work the same way when cooking. The ingredients don't need to be in your pockets. This is not the case with incubators, however. You'll need to find where you stored that egg and then bring it over yourself to be hatched. Now, before we get too far away from the subject of food, I want to talk about the box that you can craft to feed your pals. On the outside, this box has a design that makes it look like it's constantly full of fruit for your buddies to munch on. However, this is not always the case. You'll need to manually open it up to see if it's fully stocked with goodies so that you don't have stressed out hungry pals refusing to work. Hopefully there's a patch that will introduce a change of appearance for the box as it empties. With all the capturing you'll be doing, you're bound to have an overflow of pals in your pal box. Now this isn't a problem, but why not benefit from the excess? Around the map, you'll find pal merchants who will buy any pal from you for varying prices. You can also buy pals from that same merchant, and the small selection seems to change with each passing in-game day. The problem is, I've never found a reason why anyone would buy the pals on offer. They don't seem special or more powerful than the free ones in the open world, so in my opinion, they're just a waste of money. At the time of writing this, I've only encountered one of these merchants in this small settlement on screen, but the map is huge, so there's gotta be more, right? But if extra cash isn't what you're after, you may be more interested in getting some extra goodies from your additional pals. Each pal drops different things. For example, lamb balls drop wool. Chickpea drop eggs. The big cow ones drop milk. If you have extras of these or other pals, why not use the excess to farm these drops? There are two ways you can do this, the violent way and the non-violent way. Let's start with the latter. One of the structures you can add to your base is the ranch. Pals that hang out there will poop out their drops for you to gather later. Lovely. Just keep in mind that for this to work, the pal must have a farming skill. For the pals that you want to farm that can't use the ranch, you might want to craft the meat cleaver instead. This weapon becomes available at player level 12 and it transforms the pet action into butcher, causing you to hack up your pal of choice and then collect what they drop. When I first started playing, I thought that the pals could only take full advantage of their skills when they were at the base doing jobs that you assign them to. This is far from the truth. If you're out with a pal in your party that is good at mining, you can just toss the ball at a pile of rocks and they'll automatically work on mining it for you. My current favorite pal for something like this is Rushor, whose move Reckless Charge takes large chunks of rocks at once. This type of resource gathering makes crafting tools like a pickaxe a completely pointless thing to do. All you need to do is craft the saddle for Rushor at player level 6 and boom! Lots of mining in one move. When you know you want to go out and gather certain things, just go out with a specific pal on hand. They don't degrade the same way your tools do. If you're heading out for a fight, especially if it's a boss battle and you know the opposing pal's type, you should pay attention to the game's elemental matchups so that you're well equipped. These matchups are very similar to Pokemon, so fans of that series may already know them by heart. Electric types beat water, water beats fire, fire beats grass, and so on. This list can be found towards the bottom of the survival guide under the tab labeled Elements. But if you happen to get completely wrecked during a fight, the only way to heal those dead pals is to place them in the pal box for 10 real world minutes. There are unfortunately no Poke Center like buildings, and sleeping in the game does not make them heal any faster. If your pals are just injured, they will heal passively inside their ball over time, similar to how your character does outside of a ball. There are weirdly no potions in the game yet. However, there is medicine for your pals with broken bones, ulcers, and depression. Oddly weird and specific. Don't ignore the Statue of Power. This structure, which looks like a very popular Pokemon, is where you can enhance your capturing power and boost pal stats like HP, attack, defense, and more. The former uses little Leaf Monk collectibles that you can find hidden around the world. The latter uses Pal Souls, which can be found around the world as well, or obtained from pals that drop them. The caves in the game aren't just areas that you can walk in and out of. Instead, they're instance dungeons that lock and unlock throughout the day. So if you come across one that's boarded up, mark it on your map and check back later. These dungeons have proven themselves to be barely worth the trip, but they do contain a boss, and bosses drop ancient tech that you need to unlock special devices, so I guess. Now let's say you hate where you place your storage, your house, your workbench, etc. There's no need to go all Fortnite on your creations and chip away with a weapon. Just activate disassembly mode. This lets you quickly scrap anything, recollect the materials you used, and keep it moving. So now that we've gone through all of that, do you feel like a better Pal Tamer? Are you ready to take on the world? Good. Now hit the comment section and let me know what you think of Palworld and what tips you have for fellow tamers out there.